Welcome to SaaS Reality, a podcast where two budding founders talk about their businesses. Join Simon and Dean to find out what it really takes to build, launch, and run a SaaS product. Morning, Dean.
Morning, Simon.
How are you doing?
Yeah, back on the wagon, catching up with backlog at the day job and dealing with something unexpected. But we'll cover that in a bit.
Oh, no. Interesting.
It's about cloud insights as well, so yeah.
Oh, good news?
No, well, I suppose we can go straight into it. And
yeah, why not? We'll circle back.
Yeah, I was chatting with a chap who's in the sort of AWS space, very well-known business that do a lot of consulting around AWS. And he pointed me to a very big, litigious company with many trademarks who have a product called Cloud Insights.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So although they don't have it trademarked, it's kind of, well, do you even want to go up against them for anything? So it's another name rethink.
Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought, because you haven't really got your public face yet.
No. I think that's, Cloud Insights is too good a name, really. It's too generic. It's bound to be used elsewhere. Well, I know it's being used a couple of places, but that's kind of a feature of somebody else's product. But yeah, NetApp.com have a product called Cloud Insights, which is a cloud monitoring application. So
okay, that's a big no then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. I mean, there's no trademark involved, but passing off and all that kind of legal stuff, I just don't even want to go there. So
no, if they're doing server monitoring and the same name, it's kind of a bit back to the drawing board, eh?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of ideas for names, but I don't like them as much as Cloud Insights. But there you go.
Have you thought about just going really sort of niche and going like AWS analytics, or I guess I don't know what the trademark is around that either, but
well, yeah, I didn't want to
spell it out.
Yeah, I didn't want to use AWS at all.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's a trademark.
Yeah, just
steer clear of that one.
Yeah. I had a similar thing when I was looking at building an SSH monitoring piece of software for managing keys, and I was like, great to have SSH in the name, and then you're like, it is actually a trademarked name. And then I looked up, there was a massive legal battle between the guy who invented SSH and then OpenSSH, and it was a big trademark battle.
Oh, right. Yeah, steer clear of that.
It seemed like some guy invented SSH, and then after he kept releasing, and then he changed the license to be more commercial, and a whole load of people forked it from the previous unrestrictive license, and that became OpenSSH.
Oh, right.
So there's actually two things, the same name. So I thought maybe I'd just avoid having that in the name at all.
Yeah, legal stuff's just a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, luckily the open source project had the
GPL, the GNU.
Yeah, I think so. I think they just backed him up, and the legal battle just sort of disappeared. But you'd have to have the funding, right?
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, regardless of where you stand legally, it really just does come down to how deep your pockets are sometimes.
Yeah.
So some battles are worth walking away from so you can win the war, sort of thing.
So I guess I'm not here next week for everyone. I'm going to enjoy a much needed holiday.
Oh, lovely.
I guess the week after we should have new name announced.
Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas. I'm going to run them by you actually offline probably.
Yeah, although it takes a week to publish. So.
Yeah, as I say, although by the time this comes out, I'll have chosen. Yeah, there's a couple. Getting a .com name is just a nightmare with anything that begins with cloud. It's just all taken. They're not necessarily used, but they're just all taken.
Yeah.
Which is why I ended up with cloudinsights.app. Happy with a .io or .app, but would like a .com. So I looked at, that's what I've been doing for the last hour and a half, actually, looking at names. And I've come up with Cloud Clever. The .com's taken, but not really used, and all the others are available. Cloud Clue, but that's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
And I think I am going to settle on Kapua Insights.
Kapua.
Kapua, which is Hawaiian for cloud.
Ah. It fails the first test, which is being able to explain where I need to go on the phone.
So, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Cloud Watchdog. That's another option. The .com's available for a couple of grand, which I don't really want to spend, but all the others are available for now.
So. It's interesting you say about the different top-level domains. Because I obviously registered snapshooter.io. The .com is parked. And then someone contacted me about the .net, who owned it, or broker did, and was like, oh, our client's willing to sell it for $2,000. I was like, oh, okay. I just replied saying $100. And 6 months, they kept asking for offers, lowering. And eventually, they agreed on $125.
Really?
Yeah. I thought I was not that desperate for it, really.
No.
So, there's no way you can start a rival company on doing exactly the same thing on the same extension, if you like, suicide.
Yeah. So, I mean, given that I used to, once upon a time, developing website watchdog, but decided monitoring was just too involved, too 24/7 for me. What do you think about the Cloud Watchdog name? Which one of the ones I've suggested resonates most with you?
I'm going to be really harsh and say none.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Cloud Report. I've got cloudreport.app, Cloud Reporter. I don't know. I'm really struggling now. So
Auto Cloudy. There we go.
Funnily enough, I did check that one.
Oh no.
But yeah, that sounds more automation-y, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh well, we'll come back to that one then.
Yeah. See what I decide.
I guess everything is going to be taken like Cloud Hub, Cloud Lab, Cloud.
Yeah. Cloud Cop, Cloud Patrol, all the ones I don't even want taken. No. Just been through looking up synonyms and stuff, and it's just.
I wonder instead of what a developer would think when they say that, what does the CEO of a company or a non-technical person think when they're talking about AWS? What do they refer to it as? Instead of what we would refer to it as?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they just call it the cloud because, it's the ominous. Thinking of the cloud, my goodness, will Cloudflare stabilize anytime soon?
Yeah, it's a big outage, wasn't there?
It's is it 3 times? Twice?
Oh,
twice
really?
In the last one? Yeah, they had another one. So they had the leak problem with the routing, which I don't understand networking, but whatever. It seems too trustworthy. And then they did a bad deployment, which knocked out even more of their infrastructure.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one. I didn't realize there'd been multiples. Oh.
Yeah, there was a leak problem. So some ISP in America leaked one of their sub-ISPs, router announcements, whatever they're called, and saying that it was the better routing method, which leaked out onto the internet. And so all traffic was routing through this terribly small ISP.
Oh, is that the Verizon thing?
Yeah,
I heard them mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I wonder whether it was them doing a denial of service attack after being slated.
Who knows? Stranger things have happened, I guess. But
yeah, interesting. Yeah, it knocked out Cloudflare most, but it also did knock out some of S3 stuff and it's crazy.
Yeah, Cloudflare flares down, half the internet's gone.
Yeah. Well, what's it? Downtime Monitor was on Cloudflare. How ironic. Anyway, any other news other than sort of just discovering?
Apart from the bombshell, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as you saw, I posted up a first screen mock-up. I'm working on another screen, but I haven't had much time. Day job's been really busy. So small progress being made.
Where did you post that? I really don't remember seeing it.
It was in the SaaS Reality Slack as well as another place and on Twitter. So in
Oh
general,
no, I did see it. Yeah.
very purple.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
nice to avoid the oranges and the blues that are currently
Yeah, and it
represent clouds.
looks quite good, I think, as well. So it's just something a bit different. Who knows whether it will stay that purple, but we'll see.
I thought of you again this week when I looked at the reserved instances. Or I looked at the bill and we're paying X amount for a reserved instance, and then I looked at the other segment for the on-demand RDS stuff. I'm like, they don't match. We're paying for the reserve, and accidentally reserved a T2 and accidentally started a T3 server.
Yeah, is quite common as well. That is.
Yeah. So at least with AWS, you can tell it to modify, and we've set it to the maintenance window to change back to a T2.
Right. Okay. So your reserved instance isn't convertible then?
No, I don't think they are on RDS. I
don't know.
You can't sell them or do anything with them. So
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to have a look. But
I've not seen any options in the same way of
right.
You can with EC2.
Okay.
No idea.
Yeah.
It would be nice if you could sell them.
Yeah, the market for selling RIs isn't that great, actually. You don't really see many from out in the wild. They're mainly marketplace stuff. There was a big discussion about that on one of the AWS groups recently. And they just got deep into the weeds on what's sellable and what isn't. And it's like, I've zoned out of this one. I'm moving on.
Yeah, interesting. It's not really somewhere I would expect to see massive discounts by buying off other people reserved instances.
I think spot instances have pretty much killed off reselling RIs.
Fair enough.
That's my take on it anyway. Probably wrong, but anyway. So moving on, how's things with Automeli?
We're getting there. It's been been doing a bit of DevOps this week instead of actually coding. So I pushed all of the change I did the previous week with unsubscribing on emails and doing mass email sending into production, but it meant fiddling around with the way SES was working. And then it took me forever to work out why I couldn't get open and tracking to work. It was due to using different AWS keys.
Oh, right.
What a nightmare. Because I swapped from one AWS account to Automeli having its completely own AWS account.
Yep.
So while it was sending, I wasn't getting any of the tracking back. So that all works now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. And that's all working. I can see people are unsubscribing and the email hosting is working. So really happy with that. And I started moving on to the billing page stuff.
Dun, dun, dun.
I started looking at ways to do the domains and was automating with AWS API for creating SSL certificates and adding them to load balancers. And then after planning it all out, I realized I could probably just put a message on the page saying contact support if you'd like a hosted page. And I could manually do it for now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to worry about remembering IDs of load balancers, etc. So that's my solution to that problem for now is just, if you want a hosted page, let me know the domain. I'll give you an SSL, some DNS records, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do it manually. So that saves days of development.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea, actually. Yeah, just get it out there in the wild and see who wants it.
Yeah. So, if I start getting a request a day, then I'll consider changing it. So then I started working on the billing stuff, and I started with a basic Stripe elements re-enter your card page. And then I started reading about SCA. And I thought, there's no point doing it this way with 3 months until Stripe SCA becomes sort of mandatory for anyone in the EU.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to, if I'm collecting a new card, I really need to do the SCA process completely.
Yeah.
So make sure that we're getting the payment intent and everything to do that. So I started working on that, and I thought, well, it's probably easier to work with an example of payment intent failing. So I coded into Automeli a new event handler for when an invoice requires actions on Stripe, which is the process to say it requires SCA approval. I got that all working, sending the correct emails on that. So you create a workflow around that now, and getting the billing links in the emails if you've got billing set up, and that sends you to the billing page. But however, when I go to Stripe as using a sub-connected account, and I say retrieve this payment intent, it will not give me the client secret to do the payment intent. And there's a bug with the Stripe API.
Oh, no.
So if you do it with the keys of your accounts, it will work. But if you do it with the keys of a parent account talking to a sub account, the client secret will always be null. So I've been on to support and in IRC, which feels so old, boot up IRC just to chat to them. And apparently someone else reported this the same day and they're rolling a fix out. So,
oh, not too bad then.
we'll see.
Got a bit of a delay.
Yeah, it's interesting, but really the SCA stuff on their side is also not fully fixed and ready.
Yeah. It's like GDPR, isn't it? Everything's last minute.
Yeah.
Everybody's known about it for so long and they've done some prep.
And the thing I don't like about it on Stripe is the API used to be really simple.
Mm-hmm.
And they added features and they were segmented. And it's fine. Like if you're not into billing, if you're not into subscriptions, it's fine. It's so easy to bill someone's card. But now with this SCA, they've had to come up with a new version of doing these processes while still supporting the old version of doing these processes. So now the documentation is mud.
Oh, no.
And it's just there's so many pages and so many different pages about this SCA. And then you end up on a page that's not about SCA payments, but there's a small warning at the top. And you're like, oh, this is really and you still get webhooks for the old types. So you still they're moving away from the idea of a charge to payment intent. You still get webhooks for both. So it's just a bit of a nightmare.
So you're going to be the SCA expert.
Oh, maybe.
So I know who to come to.
I really want to get it done before August, so I can really start pushing it and possibly do product hunt launch with that as the main attraction.
Makes so much sense. I mean, everything's going to change to that anyway.
Yes, that's why I wanted to nail the process of if you make a payment and then off screen Stripe comes back and says that requires action. I want to be able to make it so you can set up an email schedule, because you're gonna have to bug these people for bloody days to get SCA set up.
Yeah,
or to get them to authorize the payment. It's just
Yeah, I think it's going to hit our world quite hard, isn't it? This stuff. I think people are going to see.
It is, yeah. It's really interesting. I talked to loads of people in Mega Maker about it, and a lot of them use services on top of Stripe to handle billing.
Mm-hmm.
And loads of them still haven't publicly announced what they're doing.
Stuff like Recurly and
things like that, some of them are saying it's your responsibility. And you're like, what? So it's just going to be a mess. At least Stripe have got a process of emailing people if it fails. But then again, people use tools like Automaily or the competitors because they don't want those Stripe emails. You don't have any control over how they look, how they email, how monitoring them. I mean, these are all things that Stripe could release and really do me over. But
yeah, how do you think this is going to pan out? Do you think it is a bit like GDPR, and that by the time the deadline comes, everybody's going to have their house in order, or do you think it's going to be, oh right, well we've hit the deadline, we're implementing it, and oops, things are a bit broken? What's your gut feeling on how things go? Do you think it's going to catch a lot of people out?
I think a lot of SaaS businesses are going to notice, and there's going to be a noticeable drop in conversion rates, I believe.
That's just because of the extra step to...
It's just an additional step to go through. And then I think churn will increase temporarily because the bank has the right to re-request authorization. So you could be 3 months into a subscription and it's suddenly going to turn around and say, oh no, the bank has not approved that payment. Please authenticate.
So even though they're an existing customer, been paying for 2 years, quite happy.
This is another thing I don't really know about the existing customers. for example, when people's cards update, are the bank going to turn around and say, well, this is a good time to say, let's reauth?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think the chances of getting fraud now become significantly less because they've used two-factor authentication again with their bank. I'm wondering if we're going to get to September and it's going to be like some of the policies in the UK, and they're going to turn around and say the banks aren't ready. Like the banks don't have the infrastructure in place for handling this.
Yeah.
And it's going to push back. Like the UK porn filter thing. It's been like delayed indefinitely.
I don't know. No, nothing about that. What's that all about then?
Oh, the UK made it into law that any pornographic website needs to approve that the user is over 18.
Oh, right. Okay.
By the method of like credit card authentication or ID authentication or any of these things.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, yeah, I know. And it's just, they just haven't been able to implement it because who on earth is going to upload their passport?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just interesting. Like, it's just like the idea of some tech that's actually
time to invest in VPN software companies.
Oh, well, perhaps. Yeah.
Because their sales will probably start going through the roof.
They will, yeah. It's just a silly thing.
Yeah. I mean, SCA, I think on the whole, it's a great idea because it's going to reduce the fraud.
Yeah. I think it's going to be down to the banks, really, to make it smooth. So it's kind of like the visa verification or whatever you used to get on when you go through like a online merchant or whatever, and it takes you to like a iframe of Barclays, and it's like, what's your date of birth or what's your fifth digit of your passcode or whatever. So hopefully it's going to be better than that, but just, I don't know. How's it going to work with business accounts compared to personal accounts? Like a business account's going to be more lenient.
Yeah.
Or is the boss going to be getting bloody text messages every 2 minutes saying, please enter this code?
Yeah, I think the churn thing, I think that we're definitely going to see companies hit with larger amount of churn.
Yeah.
And I can just see it now in a bigger company where there's teams and stuff, and the subscription's been running for 2-3 years. There's been a new boss recently, and it's just accepted that subscription carries on. And now if the bank decides, okay, we want a reauth, then the new boss goes, no.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows how it's actually going to plan out? Yeah, it could be like GDPR where everyone does get kind of in order, and there's a bit more nuances to it than what it sounds like. I mean, you still go to websites and they won't let you view them because of GDPR policies.
I've only ever seen that once on a site, I think.
So many American news websites just won't let UK users access.
Oh, right, okay. Get a VPN.
Well, yeah.
So, interesting times, both facing quite steep challenges then. Well, I suppose name change isn't really a challenge. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
No idea what I'm going to call it though. So anyone out there have any ideas, let me know. Although I'll have had to have decided something by the time you're listening to this. So we'll see. Doesn't mean to say it can't change again.
Maybe put it on NameStation.
Yeah, I think so. Try something. Get some fresh ideas.
Yeah. Oh, well, I get to enjoy a week away from the internet.
Yeah. Are you going off on holiday or just home vacation?
We are going to Wales camping for a week. So.
Oh, cool. Wave as you go past.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. We'd probably be traveling at like 2 a.m, so you might not appreciate it.
Yeah, you'll probably go along the M54, depending on where you're going. So it skirts around the bottom of Shrewsbury, where I live.
North Wales. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I did buy a cheap MacBook Air to take with me because I'm a bit petrified of anything.
Yeah, so, just leave it shut.
I have a good uni friend who is basically exactly the same sort of PHP developer as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I put him in charge every time I go away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah. He looked after it while you went on honeymoon, didn't he?
He did, yeah. But obviously it costs money.
Yeah.
To get any. Yeah. Oh, well, I haven't actually had to do much with Snapshooter, so maybe this time we won't have to do anything. Last time it was a bit of a catastrophe when I was away.
Oh dear. Right. Well, I think
we did actually have a question we should probably answer.
Oh, right. Okay. Mark, I think.
Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Kaufman.
Yeah, that's it.
He was interested to know how we view other startups. For example, SnapShooter could be compared to TaskSnap business-wise. What are the pros and cons because of niche markets you're both in, and what are the differences? I probably should have looked up what TaskSnap is. Online backups. I see.
And in terms of what I'm doing for the cloud stuff, most of the competitors are huge players like Cloudability, Cloud Monitor, Cloud Checker, Cloud Forecast.
Mm-hmm.
And they generally do the all singing, all dancing, everything over and above what I plan to do. So they're sort of in a different class, really, to me. I'm not sure of any competitors that are going to be as simple in terms of functionality as me. Most of them are focused around the billing side and analyzing your cost and usage report. And they're all very good. Cloudability is the top player, 20 million plus a year, just been purchased. It's an up and coming market.
Yeah. I think if it's a big market, I think there's always going to be space for somebody to come in and do something.
Yeah, you've got a few competitors for SnapShooter, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, and quite recently a literal direct competitor on almost on feature parity with me, which was interesting to see. They're spending a fair chunk on Google Ads, it seems, but they're new to the market, so I'm kind of not too worried about it really. We've got 2.5 years worth of like reputation and stuff in Google, so I need to keep on top of it. But
yeah, and SnapShooter's growing, isn't it? Still,
yeah,
getting new customers week on week. So
yeah, I think the comparison between businesses is interesting. There's so many nuances, isn't there? About are you offering the same features? Are you the same price? Are you really the same market? Do you do stuff just ever so slightly simpler? I don't know. And it's just like, for example, the TaskSnap comparison. I'm looking at it quickly. It's a backup service for any server, it seems. But most of SnapShooter customers are DigitalOcean users who don't really want to worry about setting up their own backup system. They just want backups to work. So that'd be my comparison there.
I think that about wraps us up. We're at the half hour now.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for listening to the SaaS Reality podcast. Why not head over to saasreality.com and be part of the community where you can join in the discussions. We have a really good Slack community there. You can send questions and comments to podcast@saasreality.com and we'll do our best to answer them. And if you enjoyed our episode, we'd really appreciate an honest review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll catch you in a fortnight. Anything else, Dean? Or is that?
That's that.
Cool. All right. I'll catch you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.